15 photos of rare mutations. Number 15. Hypertrichosis. Also known as werewolf syndrome, this rare genetic mutation affects about 1 in 1 billion people, meaning there may be only 7 people on this planet with this mutation. In fact, only 50 cases of this genetic disorder have been documented since the Middle Ages. Despite this genetic mutation, these brothers from Mexico in this photo seem not to let it bother them. This causes rapid, thick hair to grow all over their body, where most people wouldn't want it to be, especially on their face. Number 14. Progeria. This genetic disorder is rare and severe to those who are diagnosed. This causes rapid aging, like you can tell from this photo, of a young brave man named Sam Burns, who helped bring awareness to progeria. He was featured on an HBO documentary called Life According to Sam, which screened on January 2013. Most people with this disorder won't make it past the age of 13, but Sam remained strong and lived till 17 years old. It affects 1 per 8 million births and causes full body baldness. Number 13. Unner-Tan syndrome. As humans, we take walking with 2 feet for granted, but imagine having a genetic disorder that forces you to walk on all fours like a dog. This syndrome seems to be somewhat of a controversial topic because the genes that's missing might be one that causes us to become bipedal tens of thousands of years ago and allowed us to evolve into advanced species. A family from Turkey was diagnosed with this disorder and was made into a documentary called The Family That Walks on All Fours. One geneticist describes it as a regression of evolution. Number 12. Lash syndrome. Also known as LNS, this genetic disorder affects 1 in every 380,000 births, and virtually all of them are male. This will cause an overproduction of uric acid, which is the product that is normally excreted from urine. This will also affect neurological functioning, behavioral, and cognitive abilities. Some are known to completely chew off their fingers, like you can see in this photo. Children begin displaying self-mutilating behaviors, characterized by lip and finger biting. The child in this photo seems to be very troubled, and he has already begun gnawing his fingers and hand. Other neurological symptoms include repetitive movements and facial grimacing. Number 11. Proteus Syndrome. This rare condition affected a man named Joseph Merrick and was given the cruel nickname of Elephant Man. This causes an abnormal growth of tissue to large parts of the body that aren't noticeable until 6 to 18 months after birth. So your child could be born normally with no signs of this disorder until they start getting older. This disorder is caused from a mutation of genes which regulate cell growth, which can cause difficulty walking, like you can see from this person who is diagnosed and needs crutches to walk. Number 10. Polydactylism. Polydactylism is characterized by having extra fingers or toes, and is often reported in countries that lack proper technology to detect these with ultrasound before birth. An extreme case of polydactylism in China reported that this baby named Hong Hong has 15 fingers and 16 toes. Neither hand has thumbs, and to have this many extra fingers and toes is quite rare. The mother of Hong Hong also has this disorder and has extra digits on both her fingers and feet. The couple that had this kid was reportedly shocked that their child could be this much different from her mom's case. They began begging for help from doctors to find proper treatment. This is a much more common disorder than others that we mentioned on this list, and affects about 1 in 1,000 babies. Number 9. Argyria. This condition is often caused from high amounts of the chemical compound containing silver. It can turn the skin blue or a bluish gray. This 92-year-old man has a generalized form of Argyria. You can tell how these chemical compounds have tragically affected him. It's visible over large surfaces of the body, but people with this condition can also appear to be physically in good shape despite their strange skin color. Stan Jones, a Libertarian candidate for the U.S. Senate, ingested a large amount of silver, thinking it had some type of healing power. Strange but true. Number 8. Cushing Syndrome. Have you ever had a baby come out just a little extra large and not sure why? Well, it's possible that it could have Cushing Syndrome. This is caused from high levels of the hormone known as cortisol. This will usually lead to obesity, high blood pressure, red round face, weak muscles and bones, and acne. This syndrome can be often mistaken for obesity, but it actually only affects 2 to 3 million people per year. Women often suffer from this more often than men, and it can also occur in animals. Number 7. Vampire's disease. The scientific name for this is porphyria, but it doesn't get its nickname for nothing. This affects the way your body produces porphyrins and heme. This causes extreme deformities on your body, as well as excruciating pain. This man here has cutaneous porphyria, which is also what causes the vampire-like symptoms. Here we can see how the gums are completely missing, making his teeth stick out like a vampire. It completely transforms people's appearances, and has been found all over the world, especially in India. They also suffer from sensitivity to sunlight, necrosis of the skin, which makes their skin look as if their bodies are decaying. Number 6. Noma. Noma commonly affects the mouth or genital areas, and the ones affected by this have to deal with ulcers that destroy the tissue, causing it to break down and decay. It can get so bad that the bones and teeth in the mouth are showing. This often hits hardest in poor countries, like this young girl from Africa. It looks like her teeth are about to fall out of her mouth. This can be caused from a number of different reasons, such as malnutrition, poor hygiene, contaminated drinking water, and immunodeficiency diseases. Number 5. Fibro dysplasia. There's fewer than 800 known cases worldwide, and it's practically impossible to treat. This disorder causes muscle tissue and connective tissue to be gradually replaced by bone. Imagine twisting your ankle, then having it heal with bone matter and not muscle tendons. An extreme case of this happened to a man named Harry Eastlake. He managed to live up to the age of 40, but with this disorder, he was completely immobilized, almost like a human statue. He had only the ability to move his lips. Number 4. Pula duplex. Talk about having double vision. This medical oddity is noticeable by 2 pupils and irises in each eye. Pula duplex translates from Latin to double pupil, in case you were wondering. The condition isn't present in medical literature, but there are myths that a Chinese minister of state suffered from this condition in 995 AD. This photo here is of a wax rendition of this unusual man. In 1931, Robert Ripley, the founder of Ripley's Believe It or Not, personally met a double-eyed person named Henry Hahn, who lived in Kentucky. Number 3. Madaras foot. This frightening rare mutation is caused from a serious fungal infection, which causes most commonly the foot, but other parts of the body, to swell to abnormal levels. After the foot swells, an extremely large amount of pus is expelled, kind of like you see from those pimples popping videos, but only worse. Despite its severe look, it's relatively painless, but it can result in severe damage to surrounding tissues. This appears to be a problem mostly in India, Central America, Africa, and other places. Number 2. The tree man. This extremely rare disorder causes scaly, malcule, and papules to spread across the body. The tree bark-like growth that grows is most commonly on their hands, giving this guy the nickname Tree Man. Some of the growths can weigh about 15 pounds total. This condition is often inherited, and the photo you see here is from a case in Bangladesh, where a man had a total of 11 pounds of these root-like lesions on his hand. Number 1. Woman in a bowl. This 19-year-old girl suffers from an extremely mysterious condition that doctors have never seen before that caused her limbs to stop growing at a young age. She has absolutely no limbs and must live in a plastic bowl that's carried around by her family. She is a bright, optimistic teenager who dreams of one day owning her own store. The 19-year-old girl from Nigeria is lucky to have a family that cares for her so deeply and to make sure she's well fed. They're currently working hard to find a diagnosis to help her with this mysterious condition.